Hello and welcome to part 19. In this time we're going to take a look at how we can add or start the process of adding wind to the trunk or the branch themselves. Because right now we have the wind only on the leaves, and we also want it to be applied onto the branch itself. So I'm going to split this up into a few videos, 2, maybe 3 videos, depending on how long it takes. And hopefully in the end we are going to have a tree looking a little bit better with some sway to apply to it also. Okay, so if we take a look at the material for the twig, I think it's called here, then we are making use of the simple grass wind, which has a lot of stuff in it, which I haven't spent time looking at, but which would probably be a good idea to do at some point. But I guess just trying to see if there's a sine wave or something in here, because maybe it's just a pattern or something. Anyway, you can look at this yourself. So if we just for now copy this material here, or the part with the wind, onto the stem itself and put it down here for a moment and hook it up to the weld position offset and hit save. I mean, we just do this to see what it would do to the trunk itself, or the branch themselves. So you can see it's doing this weird thing. It's making each segment or wave around independently, which is really not what we wanted out of this. So the thing is, if you take this, so there's a kind of important thing to note here. If you take this and you do a merge axis with this, and remember to bake the vertex data. Actually, I'm not really sure you used it in this yet, but just remember it anyway. Okay, and you still will have the same issue. Okay, I actually thought it would have fixed it. Anyway, bad point. So in order to get this to look correct, or more correct, if we jump into the stem material itself here, we have this linear gradient. So if we just get rid of that, and also the vertex normal and the lerp, then we are left only with the wind part here. But remember, we have the vertex data we painted last time. We can try and use that. So take that and multiply by that and hook it up to the weld position offset. So what we have now here is that the bottom here seems to be swaying, and if we move further up the tree or further out the tree, the ends seems to be moving very slightly. So it seems to be off the opposite way. So we just need to invert the vertex color for this. And we do that by using a minus whatever, and plug that in between here. And now we should see the opposite thing going on. So you can see now the ends are swaying, and the trunk itself, or the bottom here, is not moving that much. It's still moving, and it still looks weird, and it looks more like it's breathing and all that. And that's something we will tackle in the next video. But for now, this is a good start. So we also have another issue here, and that's with the branches themselves. They seem to be sliding around just a bit, but enough to make it look weird. That's also a thing we need to figure out a way of solving. And the last thing I think I can make a preparation for that is if we turn on the leaves for a moment. Let's say 0.3 so we don't get too many. What we'll see at the bottom here is that you can actually see it all the way down here. You can see it's the basement of the stick itself. It's not moving, but that's actually because the stick, where is it? Twig. Yeah, I think it's using the wrong material. So if I put it on mstem and save. So now they use the same material. Where did it go? Stem M twig. Hello? Okay, anyway, let's move up here. Maybe it's easier to see here. Yeah, it's pretty clear. So what you can see here is that the branch itself is swaying, but the basement of the stick here is not. So if I figure out a way to move outwards, then the stick itself should be swaying just a bit. But actually nothing of this is moving at all. And the reason for that, sorry, I just realized, is because I used the vertex paint, but I don't have any vertex paint on my leaves. So let's comment this to begin with. This is the branch material and vertex paint. And then let's copy this part here. I'm gonna redo some of this stuff here, so I'm not gonna be too well. What I want to say, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it down. That's what I wanted to say. Oh, not that one. Sorry. That one, let's put it up here. Okay, so I just copied the paint vertices along axis to the static mesh for the leaves. So we have the same vertex paint basically on the leaves as the segment has. Where do you go? Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at it again. So now we should see that, okay, here we have another issue, but that's because I didn't set a minimum width for my, you can see we have this, if you remember from one of the previous videos, we set a spawn scale limit saying that it should be a minimum of 0. So if we set this a minimum of 0.2, it would not spawn all the way up there because it looks weird. You can actually see now it's moving along the same way as the branches itself. The thing is, we're going to change the way the branch is moving. So if, because right now the branch moves like it's breathing, and it looks basically just horrible. So what I'm going to do here is just to change how the branch moves by editing the setup in here. Yes. Okay, so now we can maybe see some of the problem. It's kind of hard to see, and it may not be important to you, but I thought I would do something about it anyway. So what we have here is that the branch now, you can see that's following the stick. I call it the stick because I can't figure out what to call it. It is technically also a branch, but it's not in my terms. But you can see that it's moving at one face, and the bottom of the leaves here, they are moving independently, so they get disconnected. So if this is going to be a big wind or something, they are going to be disconnected anyway at some point. So we want to do something about that, and just in order to keep things, I have them I end up having, how do I explain this? The twig itself, this is a twig, the leaves actually. It's a bad name. I should call it leaves. They have one wind effect, 3, 3, 4, and the stem has currently a shitty 0.2 looking weirdness. But in order to get this to be synchronized, I actually need to copy this to my twig, but I don't want to have this 2 times. So instead of doing that, I'm going to make a material function with whatever I have here. So I'm going to take this and copy that. And make a material function. Let's call it branch sway. And then just hook that up and change the name to something like sway. That's all. So this is the part we're gonna eventually change. And then we're gonna use this material function inside the stem. So we can, where we copied it from, so we're just gonna drag that in like this. I don't know if you can do it a different way. Here. And save. And then we're also gonna go to the twig itself. And instead of having that same piece of code, now we can just drag in the material function, and we still want to preserve the wind we have on the leaves now, so we're just going to add those 2 wind effects together, the sway and the wind together, and they are then going to produce the leaf movement offset by the sway, if that makes sense. Okay, so hopefully, just hopefully, it's gonna stay a little bit better. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. I wanted to make this clear actually, but I see that it's not really 0.8. Yeah, I'm just going to try and prove a point here. So you can see now it's obviously completely whack with this. But if I didn't add if I disconnect this and I ignore the branch sway, then you would see this. So what we did here was to accumulate the branch sway along with the leaf sway. And then we get this funky tree stuff. Alright, so these are some of the things we're going to continue working with. we don't want a boogie tree. Maybe we do at some point, but right now we don't. And we want something that sways back and forth more, kind of like it was just swaying in the wind or something. So we're going to take a look at that next, and also take a look at some of the different ways we can approach this, and some of the things we had with the vertex paint and the sliding branches here, as we can see. So let's see if we can do something about that. But for now, I hope you learned something, and see you in the next. Bye bye.